The small escape pod shook violently as it entered Earth's atmosphere. Inside, Nari gripped the control panel, her four-fingered hands trembling. Warning lights flashed red across the cabin. The pod was breaking apart. "Emergency landing protocols engage," said the computer in a flat voice. Nari closed her large almond-shaped eyes. Her pale blue skin glistened with sweat. She was the last of her kind. A Tellurian. Her world was gone, destroyed in the war between the two great empires of the galaxy. The pod crashed through the trees of a dense forest, metal scraping against wood. With a final violent jolt, it slammed into the ground. The impact threw Nari forward. Her head hit the panel, and everything went dark. Hours later, she woke to the sound of birds chirping. Smoke filled the pod. A crack ran across the view screen, showing green trees and blue sky beyond. Nari pressed a button, and the hatch opened with a hiss. Fresh air rushed in. Nari climbed out slowly, her limbs aching. She was tall and slender, with a graceful neck and delicate features. Blood trickled from a cut on her forehead. She touched it gently, and a soft glow spread from her fingertips. The wound closed instantly. This was her gift, the healing touch that all Tellurians possessed. Nari looked around at the strange forest. Earth, a neutral planet in the Great War, a place where she might be safe if the humans didn't find her first. She returned to the pod and gathered what she could. Medical supplies, food rations, a small toolkit. The pod would never fly again, but it could be her shelter for now. By nightfall, Nari had set up a simple camp. She used parts of the pod's outer shell to create a roof against the trees. Her scanner showed no human settlements nearby. Perhaps she had gotten lucky. As darkness fell, strange noises filled the forest. Nari built a small fire for warmth and light. The flames danced, casting shadows. She ate a tasteless ration bar and tried to plan her next move. Morning came with heavy rain. Nari ventured out to explore her surroundings. The forest was unlike anything on her homeworld, wild and untamed. She collected leaves and berries, scanning them to see if they were safe to eat. A sound caught her attention. A weak cry. Nari followed it to a clearing where a strange bird lay on the ground. It was larger than the other birds she had seen, with sharp talons and a curved beak. One wing was bent at an odd angle, clearly broken. As Nari came closer, she noticed something unusual. The bird had metal parts attached to its body. A small camera was embedded near one eye. Metal reinforced its wings and talons. This was no ordinary bird. The falcon screeched when it saw her, trying to stand and flee. Nari stopped, holding up her hands to show she meant no harm. "I will not hurt you," she said softly in her own language. The bird had a small metal tag around one leg. Nari could see writing on it. Talon and Handler, Captain June, Earth Defense Force. This was a military bird, a weapon. It should be her enemy, yet Nari could feel its pain. That was another Tellurian gift, empathy that crossed species barriers. Slowly, she reached into her pack and took out her medical scanner. The falcon watched her with fierce eyes, too weak to attack but unwilling to trust. "You are far from home, like me," Nari said. "Let me help you." Miles away, at a military base hidden in the mountains, Captain June stared at a blank screen. "Report again," he ordered. "When exactly did we lose Talon's signal?" A young officer looked up from her console. "It happened right when that unidentified object entered our atmosphere, sir. The Falcon was pursuing it. Then the signal went dead." June frowned. After 3 years working with Talon, the bond between them was strong. The cybernetic Falcon was more than a weapon. It was his partner. "Prepare a search team," he said. "We leave in an hour." As night fell again in the forest, Nari and the wounded falcon watched each other carefully. Neither knew it yet, but their lives had become linked by fate. The last survivor of an ancient race and a bird made partly of machines. Both far from home, both alone. Until now. Morning light filtered through the trees. Nary had spent the night watching the injured falcon. The bird had not slept either, its sharp eyes tracking her every move. "You must be hungry," Nary said softly. She opened her pack and took out a ration bar. The falcon screeched when she came closer. Nary broke off a small piece and placed it on the ground between them. Then she backed away and sat down. The falcon looked at the food, then at her. Minutes passed. Finally, hunger won. The bird stretched its neck and pecked at the food. "Good," Nary said. "Now maybe you will let me help you." She reached for her medical kit and took out a scanner. The falcon watched her carefully. When Nary stood up, the bird tried to flee, but its broken wing made it stumble. "Please," Nary said. "I can heal you." She moved slowly, one step at a time. The falcon opened its beak in warning, but Nary did not stop. She knelt beside the bird, close enough to touch it. The falcon struck out with its good wing, catching Nary's arm. 3 small cuts appeared. Nary did not pull back. She touched the cuts with her other hand, and a soft blue glow spread over her skin. The wounds closed instantly. The falcon froze. It had never seen anything like this. "See," Nary said. "I help, not hurt." She reached out again, her hand glowing. The falcon did not move as Nary gently touched its broken wing. The blue light spread from her fingers to the bird's feathers. The metal parts embedded in the wing hummed softly. "You are not like other birds," Nary said. "You are partly machine." "Interesting." A small screen on the falcon's leg band lit up. Words scrolled across it. "Unknown species, DTTTTE. Threat ACSS Mantian Projuries." Nary frowned. The machines in the bird were active, even if the wing was broken. She would need to be careful. Captain Jum led his team through the forest. 6 soldiers in camouflage followed him, carrying tracking equipment. "Talon's last signal came from this area," Jum said, pointing to a map. "We need to find him before anyone else does. The higher-ups are very interested in that object that fell from the sky." "Sir," said one soldier, "do you think it was an enemy drone?" Jun shook his head. "Too big. Could be a small ship." "Aliens?" another soldier asked. "Keep your mind on the mission," Jun said sharply. But privately, he wondered the same thing. Earth had stayed neutral in the Great Galactic War, but that didn't mean they were safe. The team moved deeper into the forest. Jun kept checking his handheld tracker, hoping for a signal from Talon's implants. "Captain," called a soldier from up ahead. "You need to see this." Jun hurried forward. Through the trees, he could see broken branches and scorched earth. Something large had crashed here recently. "Spread out," he ordered, "but stay in radio contact. If you find anything unusual, do not engage. Report to me first." Back at her makeshift camp, Nary continued to work on the falcon's wing. The healing process was slow. The bird's cybernetic parts complicated things. When Nary's healing energy touched the metal components, they sometimes sparked or shut down. "Your machines fight my healing," she told the falcon. "I must be gentle." The bird seemed to understand. It sat still as Nary worked, only occasionally making soft sounds. By midday, the wing looked better. The bone was mending, though it would take time to heal completely. Nary sat back, tired from using her healing powers. The falcon took a tentative step toward her. It no longer seemed afraid. It pecked gently at Nary's hand, not to hurt, but in what seemed like gratitude. "You are welcome," Nary said, smiling for the first time since her crash. A soft beeping sound interrupted the moment. It came from the falcon's leg band. The screen flashed. "Earth Defense Force P. Pro Oxenamimet. TY Adolf." Nary tensed. "Your people are coming." The falcon looked toward the forest, then back at Nary. It spread its good wing and positioned itself between her and the direction of the beeping. Nary stared in surprise. The military bird, this Talon, was protecting her. "Why?" she whispered. The Falcon's only answer was to move closer to her, its eyes fixed on the forest beyond. Somewhere out there, humans were coming, and the bird had made its choice. For 3 days, Nari and Talon stayed hidden. The Falcon's warning had saved them from discovery. Captain June's search team had passed within 100 meters of their hideout, but never found them. Now, in the early morning light, Nari checked Talon's wing again. The bone had healed well, but the cybernetic parts still needed work. "Your machines are complex," she told the Falcon, "but I am learning." Using tools from her escape pod, Nari carefully repaired the tiny wires and circuits in Talon's wing. The Falcon watched with intelligent eyes, staying perfectly still when needed. Talon's leg band occasionally displayed messages. Nari realized it was receiving signals from the human military. She also discovered that the cybernetic parts stored information, maps, data, and language. "Can you understand me?" Nari asked in her own language. The Falcon tilted its head. Nari pointed to herself. "Nari," she said slowly. The screen on Talon's leg band lit up. Words scrolled across. "Voice Pateoran, Rikti Ojinaisnit. Initiating translation matrix." Talon made a soft chirping sound. Then, to Nari's surprise, words appeared on the screen. Designation ACCETT'd. NAR. "You can understand me," Nari said, amazed. More words appeared. AFFI RMAT. VV. Basic Communication Possible. Nari smiled. "This is good, Talon. We can help each other." Captain June stood before his commander, his face tense. 5 days of searching had yielded nothing but the crashed escape pod, empty and abandoned. "The alien could be anywhere by now," June said. Commander Da, a stern man with gray at his temples, frowned. "And your missing bird?" "Still no signal from Talon's tracking implant," June replied. "It might have been damaged in the crash. Or the alien has your bird," Commander Day finished. "A serious security breach. That Falcon has classified military augmentations and data." June nodded grimly. "I've expanded the search area. We'll find them." "See that you do," Daz said, "before anyone else does." Back at the camp, Nari learned more about Earth through Talon's databanks. She discovered that humans were divided into many nations. Some supported one galactic empire, some the other. But Earth itself remained neutral, a rare safe zone in the war. "My people were healers," Nari told Talon as she worked on its wing. "We wanted no part in the war. But both empires feared our abilities. They thought we might help their enemies." Talon's screen displayed. "Your species statitudes." Nari's hands trembled. "Gone. I am the last." The Falcon made a soft sound and moved closer to her. For a moment, they sat in silence. "I must leave this place soon," Nari said finally. "Find somewhere safer, but not until your wing is fully healed." Flight capabilities at 62%, Talon's screen showed. "Not good enough," Nari said firmly. "You need to fly perfectly." As days passed, Talon began testing its wing, stretching it carefully. Nari watched the Falcon's progress with pride. Each day, the bird grew stronger. And each day, the bond between them deepened. One morning, Talon flew to a low branch, then to a higher one. Its movements were still stiff, but improving. Nari clapped her hands in delight. "You are doing well," she called. Suddenly, Talon froze. Its head turned sharply toward the east. The screen on its leg band flashed. "Multiple human cygenetic URESDTETED. Approaching." Nari's heart raced. How many? How close? 8 humans. Armed. 1.2 kilometers and sea-losing. Nari quickly gathered her essential supplies. "We must move. Now." To her surprise, Talon flew down and perched on her shoulder. The Falcon was heavy, but Nari didn't mind. Together, They moved deeper into the forest, away from the approaching humans. "Thank you," Neri whispered to the bird, "for choosing me." Talon's screen displayed one word, Puroteet. As they disappeared into the shadows of the forest, Neri felt something she hadn't felt since her world was destroyed. Hope. She was no longer alone, and neither was Talon. Behind them, Captain June found fresh tracks near the abandoned camp. He knelt to examine them, not human footprints, something different, and beside them, the unmistakable mark of a bird's talon. "They're together," he said quietly, "the alien and my bird." Commander Dai stood before a large screen showing the forest area. Red dots marked where search teams were looking. "This alien is smart," he said. 5 days, and we found nothing but an empty pod." Captain June studied the map carefully. "The tracks we found were heading west, toward the mountains." "What kind of alien are we dealing with?" asked a young officer. Commander Dai's face hardened. "Based on the pod design, likely a Tellurian. They were supposed to be extinct." "Tellurian?" The young officer looked confused. "A race of healers," Dad explained. "Looks mostly human, but with blue skin. They can heal with a touch." He paused. "They were dangerous." "Dangerous?" June asked. "I thought they were peaceful." Commander Day turned to him. "Their abilities could have ended the war. Both empires saw them as a threat. And now one is here," June said quietly. "With your military Falcon," Dai added. "That makes this a top priority mission. I'm doubling the search teams and bringing in special equipment." June nodded, but something troubled him. If Tellurians were healers, why would this one take Talon? Unless... "Sir," he said, "what if the alien is helping Talon, not capturing him?" Commander Day laughed. "Your bird is programmed to attack non-humans. Trust me, Captain, if this alien is alive, it's because it found a way to control your Falcon." June wasn't convinced, but he kept silent. Deep in the forest, Nari and Talon had found a new hiding place, a small cave hidden behind a waterfall. Talon flew in and out, bringing Nari berries and leaves that its scanners identified as safe to eat. "Your wing is much better," Nari said proudly as the Falcon landed beside her. "Soon you will be completely healed." Talon's screen displayed, "Humans expanding search. Military drones DTKT." Nari frowned. "They'd really want to find us. HFY Ninyu search Patioran and DITATEs KNOWLADG of our direction. We can't stay here long," Neri said. She looked at her few remaining supplies. "My food is almost gone." Talon tilted its head, then flew out of the cave. It returned an hour later with a small fish in its talons. Neri's eyes widened. "For me." "Sustenance required," the screen showed. "Thank you, my friend," Neri said softly. As night fell, Talon perched at the cave entrance, watching. Its enhanced vision could see far into the darkness. Neri slept behind it, trusting the Falcon to keep guard. Around midnight, Talon's sensors detected movement. It woke Nari with a gentle peck. "What is it?" she whispered. "Human APPROACHing. Alone. Matt Cheating, HANDLER Signature. Your handler." Nari's heart raced. "Captain June." AFR. Nari peered out of the cave. In the moonlight, she could see a man moving carefully through the trees. He carried a small device that blinked with light. "He's tracking us," Nari said. "Your implant must be working again." Talon's screen showed defensive options. Nari thought quickly. No attacking. He's important to you. Ninari important." The simple words made Nari pause. This bird, this partly machine creature, had chosen her over its programming, over its handler. "We must move," she decided. "Can you fly with me?" I'm not heavy for my size. Talon stretched its wings, considering. Then it moved to Nari's side and lowered itself. Attempt heat pivoisadol. Nari carefully climbed onto the falcon's back. Talon was much larger than normal birds of its kind, with reinforced cybernetic bones. Still, carrying a person, even a light one like Nari, would be difficult. Just to the other side of the mountain, Nari said. Then we'll walk. Talon moved to the cave entrance. Outside, Captain June was getting closer. The falcon spread its wings and leaped into the night air. For a moment, they dropped toward the rocks below. Then Talon's wings caught the wind, and they rose up, soaring over the trees. Jun heard the sound of powerful wings. He looked up just in time to see a large shape pass overhead in the moonlight. His falcon, with what appeared to be a slender, blue-skinned figure on its back. Impossible, he whispered. Then he raised his radio. Commander, this is June. I've spotted them. They're heading east over the ridge. But as he put the radio down, June didn't immediately follow. The image stayed in his mind. Talon, flying freely, carrying the alien not as a prisoner, but as a passenger, a partner. Something wasn't right about this hunt. Dawn broke over the mountains. Nari woke in their new hiding place, a hollow beneath a fallen tree. Her muscles ached from the flight with Talon the night before. The falcon had carried her for almost 2 miles before they had to land. Talon was already awake, perched on a nearby branch. Its eyes constantly scanned the surroundings. Any signs of humans? Nari asked. The screen on Talon's leg displayed. Nini G8AI. Clear, Kafor, no. Nari stretched and stepped out of their shelter. We need to find water. Talon took flight, circling above the trees. Minutes later, it returned. Water or sea LOCAT, 500 meters east. Together, they made their way through the forest. Talon flew ahead, then back, guiding Nari. When they reached a small stream, Nari drank deeply and washed her face. Your handler, Nari said as she filled her water container. Captain June. Tell me about him. Talon's screen showed Captain Joan, age 32. Falcon Unit Commander. Bonding period, 3 years. Is he kind to you? AFR Remetevive. Handle your PROVYDE's care and respect. Nari nodded slowly. Yet you chose to stay with me. You he aelid, gave freedom to choose. The simple words touched Nari deeply. On her world, before the war, her people had believed that all life deserved freedom and respect. It seemed this partly machine bird understood that better than many so-called intelligent species. A sudden beeping from Talon's leg band broke the moment. AL eared. Human aircraft AP Pro Chiang. Nari looked up. Through the trees, she could see a small craft hovering in the distance. It moved slowly, scanning the forest below. We must hide, Nari said. They hurried back toward their shelter, but halfway there, Talon froze. Its sensors had detected something. Multiple humans. Surrounding area. Nari's heart sank. We're trapped. Tactical analysis. 8 humans Vorgaming Search Gured. Commander DAE leading. Who is Commander Da? VTE Rand Officer. Fought in skirmishes against TEORINs. Now Nari understood. This wasn't just a search for an alien intruder. This was personal for the commander. Options, she asked. Limited. Sujiji East Hai Dieng until dark. Nari nodded. They found a dense thicket of bushes and crawled inside. Talon perched close to Nari, its body tense and ready. Hours passed. The search team moved methodically through the forest. From their hiding place, Nari could hear voices and the crack of branches. They're getting closer, she whispered. Talon's screen flashed. Handayelyor APPROAC Chading. Alone. Nari peered through the leaves. Captain June was walking toward their hiding place, separated from the other searchers. He carried no weapon in his hands, though a pistol was holstered at his side. "Talon," he called softly. "I know you're near. My tracker shows you right here." Neri looked at the Falcon. "What do we do?" Talon hesitated, then made a soft clicking sound. Captain June turned toward the bushes. "There you are," he said, relief in his voice. "Are you okay?" Neri held her breath. Was he talking to the Falcon, or did he know she was there too? June took another step closer. "I saw you last night, carrying the alien." He paused. "A Tellurian, right? I've been reading about them. Healers, not fighters." Talon moved slightly, positioning itself between Neri and June. "It's okay," June said. "I just want to talk." He crouched down, making himself smaller, less threatening. "Please, Commander Da has orders to capture or—" He didn't finish. Neri made her decision. Slowly, she emerged from the bushes, Talon at her side. Captain June's eyes widened. He had seen aliens before, but never a Tellurian. Neri's blue skin seemed to shimmer in the dappled sunlight. Her eyes, large and expressive, watched him warily. "You've been caring for Talon," June said. It wasn't a question. Neri nodded. "He was hurt. I helped him heal." "Why?" "Because he needed help," Neri said simply. "That is what my people do. What we did." June looked at Talon, then back at Neri. "Commander Dad will be here soon. He won't be as—" He struggled for the right word. "Understanding," Neri suggested. "Exactly." June stood up straight. "You need to come with me now, before he finds you." Talon's screen flashed a warning. "Kaoshin." Neri stepped back. "Why should I trust you?" June's answer was interrupted by a shout in the distance. "Captain, report your position." Time had run out. The hunt was over. "Hide," Captain June whispered urgently. "Now." Neri hesitated, but Talon nudged her back toward the bushes. She slipped inside just as heavy footsteps approached. "Captain, why aren't you responding?" Commander Dai stepped into the small clearing, his hand resting on his gun. June stood at attention. "Sorry, sir. Radio must be malfunctioning. I thought I saw movement over here." Dai's eyes narrowed. "Your tracker shows Talon is right here." He looked around. "So where is your bird? And where is the alien?" "I'm still looking, sir." From her hiding place, Neri could see both men clearly. Commander Dad was older, with hard eyes and a face that rarely smiled. Captain June seemed tense, his body positioned to block Dad's view of the bushes. "Your loyalty to your bird is admirable," Dad said. "But remember, Captain, your loyalty to Earth comes first." "Of course, sir." Day took a step closer to June. "I think you're hiding something. Or someone." Suddenly, a loud crash came from the far side of the clearing. Both men turned toward the sound. A large branch had fallen from a tree. "Check it out," Dad ordered. As June moved toward the fallen branch, Neri saw Talon was gone from her side. The clever bird had created a distraction. June examined the area around the branch. "Nothing here, sir. Must have been rotted and just fell." Day was not convinced. He scanned the clearing carefully, then walked straight toward Neri's hiding place. Neri held her breath. 3 more steps, and he would discover her. Suddenly, Talon appeared, diving from the sky. It swooped low over Dai's head, causing him to duck. "There's your bird, Captain," Dai said, pointing as Talon circled above them. June held out his arm. "Talon, come." The Falcon hesitated, then landed on June's arm. Its eyes remained fixed on the bushes where Neri hid. "Good to have you back," June said, stroking Talon's feathers. "Where have you been, boy?" Dai studied the Falcon closely. "Is it damaged?" "The wing was injured," June noted, "but it seems healed now. Check its data logs. I want to know where it's been and what it's seen." June nodded and pretended to access Talon's systems. "That's strange. The logs are corrupted. Must have happened when it was injured. Day frowned. Convenient. And the alien? No sign yet, sir. After a long moment, Day spoke into his radio. All units, the Falcon has been recovered. Continue search pattern for the alien intruder. He turned back to June. Take your bird back to base. Have it fully examined and repaired if needed. I want a complete report by tomorrow. Yes, sir. Day gave the clearing one last suspicious look, then walked away. June waited until he was out of sight before turning to the bushes. You can come out now. But we don't have much time. Neri emerged slowly. You helped me. Why? Because Talon trusts you, June said simply. And I trust Talon. Neri looked at the Falcon, still perched on June's arm. Talon's screen displayed. Say FE. Hand DLER. YL help. The commander will keep searching, June continued. You're not safe here. Where can I go? Neri asked. June thought for a moment. I have a sister, Hana. She's a scientist who studies alien biology. Her research station is hidden in the mountains. You'll be safe there. Why would she help me? Because she believes all species have value, June said. And because I'll ask her to. Neri hesitated. Trust did not come easily after watching her entire world destroyed. How did we get there? She finally asked. We walk. It's about 10 miles. We need to leave now, while the search teams are heading in the wrong direction. Talon flew from June's arm to Neri's shoulder. Its weight was reassuring. He's made his choice, June said, watching them. Again. Neri gently touched Talon's wing. Thank you, my friend. As they prepared to leave, June turned to Neri. You healed him, didn't you? That's why he protects you. Neri nodded. I helped him heal. But his choice to protect me was his own. June smiled slightly. I'm beginning to understand why the empires feared your people. Kindness can be more powerful than weapons. Yes, Neri said softly. That is what my people believed. Until the end. Together, the unlikely trio slipped away into the forest. A human soldier, an alien healer, and a cybernetic falcon. Each had made a choice that would change everything. The mountain path was steep and rocky. Neri, Captain June, and Talon had been traveling for hours. Night was coming, and the air grew cold. How much farther? Neri asked, her breath making small clouds in the air. Just over this ridge, June replied. My sister's research station is built into the mountainside. Hard to see unless you know it's there. Talon flew ahead, scouting the path. The Falcon's enhanced vision could spot dangers even in the fading light. Your sister, Neri said as they climbed. Will she really help an alien? June nodded. Hana has always been fascinated by other species. She left the military to study alien biology because she hated how Earth treated non-humans. They reached the top of the ridge. Below them, nestled against the mountain, was a small complex of buildings. Most were hidden inside the rock itself, with only a few windows and doors visible. There it is, Jum said. Home. As they approached the station, Talon suddenly screeched a warning. Its leg band flashed. Ki Aerogen. Security Systems active. Jun held up his hand. It's okay. Watch this. He pulled out a small device and pressed it. Lights around the complex briefly flashed, then returned to normal. I just sent my access code. We're clear. A door in the mountainside slid open. A woman stood there, tall and serious-looking, with the same dark eyes as June. You brought company, she said, looking at Neri and Talon. This is my sister, Dr. Hana, Jun said to Neri. Hana, this is Neri. She's a Tellurian. Hana's eyes widened. A Tellurian. Alive. She stepped closer to Neri, studying her with wonder. I thought they were all gone. I am the last, Neri said quietly. Hana nodded sadly. Come inside. Quickly. It's not safe out here. The research station was warm and bright inside. Clean labs filled with equipment lined one side. Living quarters were on the other. Hannah led them to a small meeting room and closed the door. Commander Des' forces are all over the mountains, she said. What happened? June explained everything. Finding Talon with Nari, lying to die, and their escape. You risked a lot, Hannah said when he finished. I had to, June replied, looking at Talon. My bird chose her. I trust his judgment. Hannah turned to Nari. May I? She gestured to a small scanner in her hand. Nari nodded, and Hannah ran the scanner over her. Fascinating, Hannah whispered. Your cellular structure is unlike anything I've seen. The healing abilities of your people, they work at a genetic level. Yes, Nari said. We can repair damaged cells with our energy. That's how you healed Talon's wing. Yes, but it was difficult. The machine parts in his body resisted my healing at first. Hannah turned her scanner toward Talon, who sat perched near Nari. The Falcon allowed the examination without protest. This is odd, Hannah said, frowning at her scanner. Talon's cybernetic systems have been altered somehow. There are new patterns in the neural network. Is something wrong? June asked, concerned. Not wrong, just different. Hannah continued scanning. It's as if Talon's systems adapted to Nari's healing energy, incorporated it somehow. Nari looked at Talon in surprise. What does that mean? I'm not sure yet, but there's a connection between you two now, at a cellular level. Hannah put down her scanner. I need to run more tests. Later that night, Nari sat alone in a small room Hannah had prepared for her. Talon perched near the window, watching the darkness outside. You should go with your handler, Nari told the Falcon. This is your home. Talon's screen displayed. Neg8AIV. Stay with Nari. Why? Your mission is complete. I'm safe now. The screen flickered, then showed Ninyu mission. Protect Nari. Always. Nari felt tears in her eyes. What did I do to earn such loyalty? Gave life. Gave choice. Simple words from a complex being. Nari reached out to touch Talon's wing, the one she had healed. A faint blue glow appeared where their bodies connected. We are linked somehow, she whispered. Aren't we? Yes. Then, a new message appeared. We are EFAMIL, we know. For the first time since her world ended, Nari felt truly at home. 3 days passed at the research station. Hannah ran tests on both Nari and Talon, amazed by what she found. The connection between you is getting stronger, she told them one morning. Talon's cybernetic systems have somehow merged with Tellurian cellular patterns. It's something completely new. June watched his Falcon fly around the station's main lab. He moves differently now. Smarter. More aware. His brain activity is off the charts, Hannah agreed. The military enhanced him for combat, but Nari's healing has enhanced him for something else. For what? Nari asked. Before Hannah could answer, an alarm blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed on the walls. June rushed to a computer screen. Perimeter alert. Multiple vehicles approaching. He checked the security cameras. Military trucks. At least 4 of them. Da, Hannah said grimly. How did he find us? June's face darkened. My tracker. I forgot to disable it. They must have followed my signal here. Talon landed on a table, its screen flashing. Tactical analysis. 12 soldiers. Commander DAE leading. Nari felt cold fear spread through her body. What do we do? The station has hidden rooms, Hannah said. Places they won't find in a quick search. That won't work, June shook his head. Dodd will tear this place apart until he finds what he's looking for. A voice came over the station's speakers. Attention Research Outpost. This is Commander Dai of Earth Defense Force. We know you are harboring an alien fugitive. Surrender the Tellurian immediately. Hannah moved to the communication panel. This is Dr. Hannah. This is a civilian research facility. You have no authority here. I have direct orders from Earth Command, Day replied. The alien poses a security risk. You have 5 minutes to comply, or we will enter by force. June turned to his sister. Why is he so determined to capture one refugee? Because she's a Tellurian, Hannah said bitterly. The last one. What does that matter? Nari asked. Hannah looked at her sadly. Your people's healing abilities, if widely used, they could end the galactic war. No more wounded soldiers. No more destroyed ships that couldn't be repaired. Peace, Nari whispered. And peace is bad for those who profit from war. Hannah finished. Both empires wanted your people gone, Jun realized. And now Earth is being pressured to hand over the last survivor. Outside, soldiers surrounded the station. Commander Day checked his watch. 3 minutes left. Inside, Talon suddenly flew to the station's main computer. Its talons tapped at the keyboard with surprising dexterity. What is he doing? Jun asked, amazed. Hannah watched the screen. He's accessing the station's systems, shutting down communications, activating defense protocols. Talon's screen displayed, preparing CONTRMEAs UREs. The connection between you has given him new abilities, Hannah told Nari. He's using the station's computers like they're extensions of his own systems. Nari touched Talon's wing gently. You're trying to protect us all. HFY Fanlil unit must survive. A loud bang shook the main door. Commander Da had run out of patience. They're breaking in, Jun said. He pulled out his service weapon. I'll hold them off. You two find a way out. No, Nari said firmly. No more fighting because of me. She walked toward the main entrance, Talon flying close beside her. What are you doing? Hannah called after her. Ending this, Nari replied. The door burst open. Commander Day entered first, gun raised, followed by his soldiers. They stopped short at the sight of Nari standing calmly before them, the Falcon perched on her shoulder. Commander, Nari said, I am the one you want. Let these humans go. They only tried to help me. Day's eyes narrowed. You speak our language well. I learned quickly, Nari replied. Another gift of my people. Your people were a threat to galactic security, Day said coldly. My people were healers, Nari answered. We threatened no one, except those who needed the war to continue, Jun added, stepping up beside her. Commander Day pointed his weapon at Jun. Captain, you are guilty of treason for aiding this alien. Suddenly, Talon launched from Nari's shoulder, moving faster than anyone could follow. The Falcon struck Day's hand, knocking the weapon away. In an instant, the room exploded into chaos. Soldiers raised their weapons. Jun moved to shield Nari. Hannah shouted for everyone to stop. But it was Talon who controlled the moment. The Falcon flew in rapid circles around the room, diving at the soldiers, forcing them to duck. Its movements were too fast, too precise to counter. Stand down. Commander Day ordered his men. Don't shoot the bird. In the confusion, Nari saw her chance. She stepped forward, hands raised, palms glowing with soft blue light. Look at me, she said, her voice cutting through the chaos. This is what you fear, the healer. 2 soldiers had been injured in the struggle, one with a cut on his face, another holding a twisted ankle. Nari walked toward them slowly. May I? She asked the soldier with the cut. The man looked at Commander Day, who watched with narrow eyes but did not object. The soldier nodded nervously. Nari placed her glowing hand on his cheek. The cut sealed instantly, leaving no scar. She moved to the second soldier and touched his ankle. The swelling disappeared. This is the power your leaders want to destroy, Nari said, turning to face Da. The power to heal, not harm. Commander Day's face showed conflict. The orders came from the highest levels. Both galactic empires want all Tellurians eliminated, because peace would end their power, Hannah said. June stepped forward. Commander, you've served Earth for 20 years. Is this why you joined? To help empires hunt down healers. Before Dai could answer, the station's communication system activated. A stern voice filled the room. This is General Min of Earth Command. Commander Dai, report your status. Dai hesitated, then moved to the communication panel. Sir, we have secured the research station. The Tellurian is here, along with Captain June and Dr. Hannah. And the bird? The general asked. Present as well. Good. I've reviewed Captain June's logs and Dr. Hannah's research. The situation has changed. New orders. The Tellurian is to be granted asylum on Earth, effective immediately. Everyone in the room looked shocked. None more than Commander Da. Sir, he questioned, the empires. The empires don't control Earth, General Min cut in. The evidence shows this Tellurian saved one of our most valuable military assets. More importantly, her healing abilities could benefit all humanity. His voice softened slightly. We lost my daughter last year to an illness no one could cure. How many more must die when we have a chance to learn from a healer? The communication ended. The room fell silent. Commander Dai slowly holstered his weapon. His men followed suit. It seems, he said stiffly to Nari, that you are now under Earth's protection. Talon landed on Nari's shoulder, its screen displaying. Threat neutralized. 6 months later, the research station had tripled in size. New buildings housed laboratories where Nari taught human doctors her healing techniques. Some had the genetic potential to learn, though none could match a true Tellurian's abilities. In a sunny courtyard, Nari sat with June and Hannah, watching Talon fly overhead. The Falcon was not alone. 3 other cybernetically enhanced birds soared with him. The new Guardians are learning well, Jum said, proud of his training program. Thanks to Talon, Hannah added. The connection he shares with Nari has made him the perfect teacher. Talon swooped down and landed beside Nari. His screen showed, more coming. Ship DTKT. Nari stood up, excitement in her eyes. The latest refugee transport was arriving, the 3rd this month. Earth had become a sanctuary for those fleeing the war, thanks to the new policies inspired by Nari's case. Let's go welcome them, she said. As they walked to the landing pad, June looked at the Falcon perched on Nari's shoulder. When you healed his broken wing, he said, did you ever imagine it would lead to all this? Nari smiled. I only did what was right. One small act of kindness. That changed everything. Hannah finished. Above them, Talon's fellow guardians circled the incoming ship, once weapons of war, now protectors of peace. At the edge of the landing pad, Nari waited with her new family, a human soldier, a scientist, and a Falcon that had once been her patient. The ship's doors opened. New faces, new species, new hope. And standing ready to greet them all, the last Tellurian, no longer the last of her kind, but the first of something new.